Palabras interrogativas means question words. The word palabras is words and interrogativas is interrogatives. So words interrogatives. So question words. The words that we use when we want to ask questions in Spanish. ¿Dónde? Means where. ¿Cómo? Means how. And ¿cuándo? Means when. Notice the upside down question marks. And notice the acentos. There's an acento en donde, acento en cómo, an acento on the a en cuando. Donde, where, cómo, how, cuando, when. When you are using these words in questions, they have to have acentos. But if you are not using these words in a question, you don't have to have acento. For example, I don't know where I put my phone. No sé dónde puse mi teléfono. In that case, the word donde would not have an acento because when I say I don't know where my phone is, I'm not asking a question. These are examples of questions using question words. ¿Qué idioma habla Antonio? What language does Antonio speak? As you can notice, the word que means what, idioma means language, habla means speaks, and Antonio is the name. So what language does Antonio speak? ¿Qué idioma habla Antonio? Notice that the word does, when you say what language does Antonio habla, speak, the word does doesn't have an equivalent in Spanish. ¿Por qué no trabaja Antonio? ¿Por qué means why, no means doesn't or don't, trabaja means work, and Antonio is the name. Why doesn't Antonio work? Okay. ¿A dónde viaja Antonio? ¿A dónde means where to? Viaja means travel, and Antonio is the name. Where does Antonio travel to? So the word a dónde is where to. Notice the acentos in the question words qué, por qué, and a dónde. Notice that the word por qué, why, has two words. These are other question words. Cuánta, cuánto, cuántas, cuántos, cuál, cuáles. Cuánta, cuánto means how much. Cuántas, cuántos means how many. Cuál means which. And cuáles also means which. ¿Cuánta leche hay? How much milk is there? The word cuánta is how much, leche is milk, and hay is there is. ¿Cuánto queso hay? Notice that the word cuánta is used when we are talking about a female noun. The word leche, milk, is a female noun, that's why we use cuánta. Queso is cheese, and that's a male noun, that's why the interrogative word is cuánto. ¿Cuánto estudia Antonio para la clase? How much does Antonio study for the class? We're using the word cuánto because we are using a verb after the question word. So every time you use a verb after the question word, you use cuánto. I usually don't say cuánto estudia Antonio para la clase. How much does Antonio study for the class? I say ¿qué tanto estudia Antonio para la clase? ¿Qué tanto is also how much? Another question word that is used is ¿cuántas computadoras no funcionan? How many computers do not work? ¿Cuántos idiomas habla Antonio? How many languages does Antonio speak? We're using the word cuántas because the noun computadoras, computers, is a female noun. And we use the word cuántos when we are referring to languages because the word idiomas is a male noun. Even when it ends in AS, it's going to be considered a male noun. It's one of the few exceptions when this happens. Usually, if the noun ends in A or AS, it should be a female. But, like in English, there are always exceptions to the rule. So the word idiomas, languages, is a male noun, even when it ends in AS. ¿Cuál es tu clase favorita? Which one is your favorite class? ¿Cuáles son tus clases favoritas? Which are your favorite class? So the word cuál is when we're talking about one thing, and the word cuáles is when we're talking about more than one thing. But both mean which. ¿Quién habla 5 idiomas? Who speaks 5 languages? ¿Quiénes hablan 5 idiomas? Do you notice the difference? The word habla means he or she speaks. So we're talking about one person that speaks 5 languages. Hablan means they speak. So that question is talking about more than one person. That's why the question is ¿quiénes?